Hello, my name is Kristin Slice. I'm with the Edson E+I team leading the Peoria Forward program. For those of you that I don't know, I'm excited to have you here. Next week, we're launching a two-part series talking about our entrepreneurial ecosystem in the West Valley. So I wanted to give you a quick primer on what to expect. And for those of you that are familiar with the program, it's exciting because there's been a lot happening in the last year. So let me give you a quick 3-minute overview of what has been happening out in the West Valley that you need to know about. Peoria Forward is a partnership between the City of Peoria and Arizona State University's J. Orrin Edson Entrepreneurship and Innovation Institute. We have been for the last 3 years focused on how to grow and scale an entrepreneurial ecosystem out in the West Valley. Now that means we have 2 key roles out in the West Valley. The first one is to serve entrepreneurs, whether through programming, acceleration. It's direct support to anybody who is moving forward a new, creative, innovative idea. And our second key role is as an entrepreneurial ecosystem builder. And what that means is we get to connect all of the parts, talk about the resources, set the tone for the culture that's out there. And so that's what these 2 programs are focused on, is how do we build an entire community of resources that are well connected, of entrepreneurs that are leading things out there, of schools and educators that all are working towards this common benefit of building a community through a thriving entrepreneurial ecosystem. Entrepreneurs create the majority of new jobs, they create social impact. So we all believe in the transformative properties of having more entrepreneurs bring ideas to the forefront. Here's what we've been up to for the last 2 years. We've provided a variety of training, in-depth networking opportunities, and that first year we spent going out doing comprehensive research of what was really happening in the West Valley. Then last fall, we presented it at an ecosystem summit. So similar to what we'll be doing on Tuesday and Thursday, going through and talking about what we found. That first round was focused on here's the research and here's what we know about Peoria. It's early stage. We know that entrepreneurs are getting started without being connected to each other. Many of them are new entrepreneurs, and we know that there's not a lot of activity. So we presented that data and had entrepreneurs, educational leaders, our resource partners all chime in with ideas on how we all could collaboratively help build that entrepreneurial ecosystem. So not just ideas and feedback on what we could do, but we identified key projects. And that's what has been happening. So as you can see, there's a lot of exciting movement. If you have just been joining us, the last year was full of growth. There's a 1 million cups community that was recognized as one of the top 25 in the country, meeting now bi-weekly online to have entrepreneurs share their story. We had 10 different projects from that summit come to fruition. So we had everything from an esports summit to a group of entrepreneurs who took it on themselves and said, hey, there needs to be mentors that are going out and meeting and celebrating and connecting with entrepreneurs. So the creation of our Ignite Peoria Entrepreneurs got underway. From the numbers of last year, we were able to, through Peoria Forward, have lots of new workshops, people attend multiple workshops, and we were able to expand our reach. Here's a couple of highlights of the work that we have been doing. So we had Innovation Night that happened out in the fall. Over 65 attendees all came together to hear the amazing Stephen Potts talk about his high growth scale startup, and he's a Peoria resident. We were able to have 100 connections across that event, which was really exciting. We had programming in the library that sponsored all sorts of new ideas. Amazing community leaders were actually leading these programs, helping new entrepreneurs find their way. But we're not the only ones that have been busy. Our partners out in the West Valley, like the Peoria Chamber of Commerce, have been busy to advance their relationship, working on policy with the City of Peoria, building new staff and a focus on value building, and a whole new brand, bringing the Peoria Chamber of Commerce up to the next level. The Maricopa Small Business Development Center has been expanding their client base, working on programs from financial management and really targeting established businesses. So as you can see, there's been lots of growth across the ecosystem, lots of exciting efforts. In fact, we were even recognized as Best of the West for our efforts in having so many diverse resource partners work so closely together, and we were recognized by Westmark for that honor. Then March hit. And as we all know, COVID-19 could not have been anything that we saw coming in the assessment or in the summit. But here's the good news. Very quickly, because we already had a network and ecosystem put in place, we were able to mobilize all of our partners, resources, and community aspects to the benefit of the community. This coalition of the Chamber of Commerce, the SBDC, the Peoria Forward effort with ASU, as well as multiple departments within the city, and many of our community volunteers, including the IPE group, the Peoria Met group, all came together to get into action. We had 3 key phases. We went into action, we listened, and we found resources. We reached out to the business community as a collaborative. None of us could have done this level of outreach individually, but together we were able to get on the phone, talk to entrepreneurs, talk to people, and say, what is happening? How can we help? From that, we identified a couple of key ways that we could really make a difference and impact in that moment. Many of you may have seen the bright green banner signs that were all over Peoria, letting people know about businesses that were open and how they could help. We got a huge accolade, lots of media attention, which was really exciting, that people were recognizing how we were able to take this ecosystem of resources we've been building and address an incident no one could have seen, the COVID-19 pandemic, to really create a resilient community. From there, we continued to get out and talk to people. We led a mayor's ad hoc small business advisory committee where we actually pulled 10 different diverse business owners into the room and asked them for ideas once we got into this next phase of COVID. And they told us time and time again, we need resources. So we got into action around that. In our 3rd phase, we were able to actually execute and help the city of Peoria build a small business nonprofit relief grant. We're proud to say that's already been rolling out. We've given $1 million in relief funds away. We've also been able, because we worked as a collaborative, to spread the word about statewide and national resources. So we've seen a lot of different funding resources. We've been able to educate and engage entrepreneurs and do the best we can during this time to really help build and keep entrepreneurs moving forward. We also have focused in on marketing campaigns. So hopefully you've been visiting the City of Peoria's communications team has done a great job having video highlights of new entrepreneurs that are pivoting their business, to entrepreneurs that are reopening, and small business owners and artisans. We did a 2nd round of the banners because by popular demand from that mayor's advocacy group. The City of Peoria even pivoted their 2nd Saturday, a traditionally in-person event, to be a virtual platform where small businesses and artisans could share. All of this was done with the task force in lockstep. We were able to execute all of this work so much more effectively because we use the entrepreneurial process of finding, getting into action, listening, and moving forward. And it really solidified this partnerships that we were talking about. So as I mentioned, there's been a couple of partners, there was some activity, things were starting to move, and COVID-19 has really put together what the options are and solidified the foundation of Peoria. And so that brings us to where we are today. We are now looking at, we know that whenever there's an economic downturn, people look at entrepreneurship. So we've been looking at how do we iterate the tools to make them more available, get more new people, catch those people early in the pipeline. We've created advanced marketing campaigns about buying local, and we continue the engagement and utilization of all of the research and the outreach that we've been doing to how do we continue to build momentum and not let this moment in time define who we are. And so that brings us to what we are going to be doing on Tuesday. So as you can see, there is a lot of efforts that have been happening, and now it is time for you to be part of those efforts. And if you are part of those efforts, it's time for us to get back together and talk about what does it look like for us to continue to move forward in this new environment. So please make sure to join us next Tuesday. Now you've got the information. We're going to have breakout rooms. It's going to be in a virtual environment. We're going to do some additional resource mapping, what else is out there, and then have you ask questions, give us feedback on some of the systems that we've set up, and then on our part 2, really launch into what is the new set of projects that we're all going to work on together. So if you believe in entrepreneurship, in the transformative power of this community and entrepreneurship moving forward, I encourage you to attend on Tuesday, sign up for part 2, spread the word, and get ready to get into action as we all move to build Peoria and move Peoria forward. I look forward to speaking with all of you. The links will be below for those 2 events. We'll also have that slide deck so that you can click through and connect with the additional resources in there. I look forward to speaking with you and see you next Tuesday.